See, here's the thing about these pranks, right? Here's the thing about these pranks.
Get off those shit.
Here's the thing about these pranks, right? Here's the thing about these pranks. Part to go to the gym as always. Stay ready so you don't have to get ready, right? The thing about these pranks is everybody's not playing, right? You can prank 50 people right on, and that 51st person might, give you some problems. And this is what this gentleman was known for. He was known for pranks. He was known for trolling. He was known for causing a disruption. And sadly, he felt that those same antics that he was getting himself into in the States were most definitely going to work in quote unquote third world countries. And he was sadly mistaken. Uh, Obviously, he's changed over the years, right? No homo, right? It's obvious that he was under uh the prescription or non-prescription of some steroids, right? And some people have said that has contributed to his anger. Some people said that has contributed to his demise and most importantly, his poor decisions. This was his last video a year ago, right? A year ago was his last video. And I'm sure those videos in the Philippines mysteriously deleted, right? But that was his last video, right? And here's my take on the situation, right? Here's my take on the situation. I'm always down for a good laugh, right? I am always down for a good laugh. Everyone loves some ha he in their life, right? But there has to be limitations to the he, right? There has to be limitations because what may fly with someone may not fly with another. All right, let's check out some more of his videos. Let's check out some more ridiculous videos he's done. Falling on strangers prank, right? I don't know what made him come up with this idea, but let's check it out.
What's up, guys? Thank you so much.
Skip the BS.
What's up? Huh? What's up? Recording.
You see, stuff like this will result in bad things happening to you, right? Let's be honest. Stuff like this will result in bad things happening to you, right? Bad things, horrible things, like vicious, malicious things. Um, Here's the thing, and someone told me this a long time ago, right? When I was a child, they said one day you're gonna meet your match, right? One day you're gonna find the one, right? You may find a lot of people that's going to avoid confrontation until you find that one person that welcomes it with open arms. Did he get what he deserved? Most definitely. But if you ask me, right? If you ask me, I think they went light on him, right? Because if you look at it, his last video was a year ago. Although he had videos of what he did in the Philippines, they disappeared. His last video was a year ago, right? So he did less than a year in prison, in a Philippine prison. If you ask me, right? If you ask me, he got over. He got over. He got over. Um, he got over. Doing a year for the ridiculous nonsense that he was filming and doing in the Philippines is like a slap in the face to the Filipino, right? I'm gonna be honest with you. Uh, my guess, right? Here's my guess. My guess is this is funny. My guess is he's going to be on that Ukraine. He's going to be fighting in Ukraine somewhere. Like he's going to be, in RUSSIA, fighting the war, right? He's going to be fighting the war. I guarantee you, within the next 6 months, he's going to be in that army, right, fighting for his country. Let's be honest. His future is not bright, right? His future is not bright. And I feel like maybe that's what he needs. Maybe he needs, to spend some time in the military for some discipline. There's a misconception, a rumor, a fantasy that when we go to these foreign countries to immerse ourselves in ignorance, that nothing will happen to us. The lie detector to determine that was a lie. The lie detector determined that was a lie. I witnessed with my own eyes, there's a lot of guys that go to these foreign countries and act ignorant, right? Get out of hand, get very disrespectful to the people and the authorities that be in those particular countries. I've seen with my own eyes the disrespect that has come from Americans. People go overseas and forget that these countries have rules too. People go overseas and forget that these countries have laws. People go overseas and just assume that what they're doing is okay. And this particular gentleman learned a hard lesson. This particular gentleman learned a hard lesson, and that lesson is they will make an example out of you. I'm going to repeat that again. They will make an example out of you. Nobody is immune to the judicial process in foreign countries. If anything, if anything, a lot of these countries would love to make an example out of you so that the next group of tourists know that they're not playing around. So that the next group of tourists know that they can't go there and make the same mistakes that you did and think that it's going to go unpunished. A lot of people do things in these foreign countries that will get them arrested for disorderly conduct and so much other things. Floyd Wallace style, so many other things. Passport bros, I've seen it time and time again, even that dude that was in Kenya beating up on a woman allegedly, right? You have to understand your crowd. You have to understand not everyone you meet online is your friend. Not everyone you meet online has pure, genuine intentions. And that's why there's not one video online of me hanging out with another guy, passport. Because I don't know you, bro. You realistically don't know my real name, right? You everything I tell you was a lie. You know, it's one German. I think I told him what state I was from, but 99.9% of the things I tell anyone while traveling, anyone is a lie. 99.9999% lie. And some of the things that they're telling me is likely a lie as well, which I respectfully could care less. But we're going overseas living in lives with an expectation that good things will come to pass. But a lot of us are going overseas living in dark, deep, vicious, violent, criminal lives that have statistically proven not in our favor. There have been many of gentlemen that have traveled to various countries, not just the Philippines, Colombia, DR, Asia, many of Americans that have traveled to these countries and acted out found themselves in a position similar to Mr. Vitale, where they are incarcerated and held in front of everyone as a publicity message, held in front of everyone to show off, held in front of everyone to make an example of. No one is immune to the judicial system. This is what I don't suggest people be making friends with other men. Listen, I don't know you, you don't know me. Because you could find yourself in an awkward situation if, hypothetically speaking, you're in there with Floyd Wallace playing video games or whatever you were so-called doing, and the police kick in the door and hold y'all at gunpoint and arrest y'all. And as I've said, and I will continue to say, birds of a feather flock together, especially if you're in somebody's wrong. Either you're, here's my thing. If you hang out in another dude's room, this is my thing. I could be wrong, but I could be wrong. I could not be wrong as well. But I think you a little, you know, you know. But birds of a feather flock together, but sometimes you can be guilty by association. Sometimes you can be guilty by association. I know this guy that went to do some things, right, when I was younger. He was just in the car, right? He didn't do the alleged offenses, but he was just in the car. And he went to prison. He was just in the car and he went to prison. He was just in the car and he went to prison. Your association with these people from a passport bros perspective that are going overseas and indulging in these criminal acts, in some cases, you're just as guilty as them because they knew that you knew and you had that moral obligation to report it. I'm going to repeat that again. They knew that you knew and you had that moral obligation to report it. I was watching this police chase video, right? And this mother was driving her son on the road, and he had escaped from the police before, and she probably didn't know, right? And she was driving down the road with her son in the vehicle, and the police pitted her vehicle against some guardrails and arrested both of them. right? Assuming she didn't know, assuming it's kind of hard to prove, that her son was wanted. They arrested both of them. They arrested him because he was wanted, and they arrested her mother because they assumed that her mother was hindering his capture. They assumed that his mother, watch out for this word, was an accomplice to preventing him from being arrested. You really can't associate with people overseas because those people overseas, if and when the police and customs storm in, they're not going to say, hey, Mr. Wallace, get on the ground, you're under arrest. Hey, John Doe, you can leave. That's how it's going to play out. And I don't want to mess up my vacation, my time away, my traveling with a hold where I can't leave the country. I don't want to mess up my traveling, my vacation, sitting in some foreign jail cell waiting for them to do some investigation to prove I had nothing to do with those offenses. That's why it's best to go overseas and do your own thing. Go overseas and be an individual. Go overseas and really don't make friends, but make friends with us in passing. Hey, what's up? Hey, what's up? Hey, what's up? I'm going here, we're going there, da da da, do. Oh, all right, bye. You know, because a lot of guys will go overseas and get you caught up in some BS that they was caught up in. Now y'all both caught up. You don't have any immunity. You aren't saved. You aren't privileged. You aren't in a position as an American. I think this guy was a green card holder, but you aren't in a position as an American to say, I'm immune to your legal process. You aren't a diplomat. You aren't a diplomat. You do not have diplomatic immunity. You don't. So when you're going overseas, indulging in the nonsense, and it's time for Mr. Policeman to knock on your door, he's not saying we're going to contact the embassy. We're going to let you go. This is a warning. We got to get you out of here because of your diplomatic status, right? And 9 times out of 10, 100 times out of 100, they're going to contact the embassy, right? If you're an American in a foreign country and there's an American embassy there, I'm sure they're going to contact them, right? I'm sure the embassy's going to tell your family that you're arrested for Floyd Wallace's charges. I'm sure these things are going to get passed, but that doesn't save you and exempt you from the judicial process. Stop going overseas, indulging in negativity, ignorance, and assuming you will not be held accountable.